There, thanks for joining me. I'm Kira Woods, and this is your weekly tarot forecast. So we're into now July, well into July. So today is July the 6th, so this would be the 6th through the 12th. I'm doing something different this month. For those of you who have listened to my monthly reading, and if you haven't, go check it out. What I'm doing is I'm carrying over from the monthly reading the helper card that I drew in that reading, which was the Knight of Cups, and I'm sort of adding it to the information for each of the weeks. Also, because of the way the weeks fall in July, I'm actually considering this July as having 5 weeks. So this is the second week of July. Okay, so let's see. I'm shuffling the cards. I'm going to draw 3 cards as otherwise usual. And I've got Lover's card coming up, the 10 of Wands, and the Star card. Okay, so we've got 2 major arcana. Lovely. All right, so just to remind you what I consider the helper card here. The helper card is either somebody of influence, or it also could mean a lesson or an opportunity. And so being a helper card for the month, and particularly in the sense that it is a court card, I very much see this as being a either your own personality trait that really wants to shine throughout the month, that is very important to successful outcomes of your situations or experiences. Or you might also say it's a person, somebody of influence who will come into your life. And I think that is because it's court card, it's definitely going to be something of that nature. Keep that in mind. If you remember, the Knight is, the Knight brings messages, and the Knight comes with heart. So this is very much a message that's going to come from heart. It could be an invitation about something, or the arrival of somebody, or somebody who enters your life who definitely has emotional benefit. So the Knight of Cups situation, or the influence or energy around it, is definitely going to be around emotional benefit, about information, about following your intuition, listening to your heart, paying attention to what your heart is saying. The Knight shares information with great empathy and sensitivity and sweetness of heart, but it is a Knight, so it's about action, it's about doing. The Knight definitely is taking action. It's following or responding to the messages of the heart in a very positive way. It might mean you might have a heart-to-heart conversation with somebody, something of that nature. So as we look at the 3 cards for the week, however, we look here, this is sort of Monday, Tuesday, midweek, end of week, sort of Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I also think of it as how all 3 cards come together to create a general energy field, as per added or influenced by this Knight of Cups. So the Lover's card, well, if the Lover's card, of course, is about balance. So here we go, balance, head and heart. And I think it's very much around in your situations, in your experiences, are you just really focusing on your head and what your mind and what your logic. With this Knight here, I think we've got a very strong indication that it's time to listen to your heart, to follow your heart, to make a balance between that sort of head-heart dynamic. It also can be, it's any of those sort of opposing energies. You could say you're conscious, unconscious. You could say sort of being highly active versus relaxation. The Lover's card is about having a clear vision of your own values, about understanding what your heart wants. It's about when you see the Lover's card, it's about making choices and then owning those choices. So it's definitely about responsibility or consequences to action. It's about harmony and innocence. It's wonderful. It's unity. There's the energy here is of unity, of connectedness, of 2 opposing energies coming together. Partnerships coming together. So if your situation is around, if it's in work and it's around a partnership or working with somebody else on a project, it's a very positive energy for that. You're going to find you're really going to be able to utilize that in a very positive way. As I said, it's also around being responsible for choices. So if you're signing contracts at the moment or making agreements, it's very important that you do that knowing that you're coming from a place of truth and honesty in yourself, because you will be held accountable for the decisions that you make and the contracts you make. So basically, whatever promises you make, keep them. This card is the energy for this will be very much the positive outcome when you follow through and keep those promises, for example. It also might mean that here that somebody might come into your life and the emotional benefit is that they open to you an understanding of, perhaps you end up helping them in some way, but through that you actually have a great sense of learning and knowing about the importance of sharing and giving with others, but also about, all people are suffering, or there's pain and suffering in everybody's life, even though you might not see it, or it might look like they have the perfect life, but there's always something going on, and you might find that an opportunity comes where you actually have a greater insight to understand empathy and compassion for somebody else's life and somebody else's suffering. As we move into the middle of the week, the energy of the Ten of Wands comes in. Now here you've got this figure of somebody who, is sort of feeling burdened, is carrying this very heavy load and feeling burdened. And that's sort of what this card is representing. So it's saying that you've been carrying a burden, and it's perhaps time to let it go. It might be that through listening to both your head and heart, you've come to realize that, you were on a path of working towards a goal or an activity or a career or an achievement or something, and maybe you've taken on too much. Perhaps it's time to balance out your sort of work life, sort of your work, a relaxation lifestyle type balance. Are you overworked? Have you sort of fallen into that workaholic mindset? Are you paying attention to those around you and the emotional needs of those around you, or are you just all focused on making money, for example? Or, so this is sort of talking about, this energy here is asking you to pay attention to, are you overworked, are you overtired, or are you overstimulated? What is this burden that you've taken on? Examine that and look to see where is the balance in your life. Is your life balanced, or are you putting all your energy in one part of your life to the denial of some other part? So where the Ten of Wands is around, it's saying that you have come to some sort of completion. And that completion could be that you've achieved something and now it's time to move in a new direction. And so what is this new direction? What are your values and beliefs wanting you to really pay attention or move towards? What's this new direction that is trying to evolve in your life? It also might say, are you feeling sort of, this card can come up if your mental state is fixated on the fact that you feel like you've failed in some way, or that you haven't achieved the career path that you wanted, or that you haven't, been the perfect parent, or that you haven't achieved something that you set a very high expectation about. And this card is saying, stop thinking about failure, because your heart's and your passion says that whatever has manifested is what was meant to be. And so release all those expectations and those judgments, and celebrate and enjoy what you did achieve and all that has come to pass because of that. So that's what the energy of this card is reminding you of those sort of scenarios whereby pay attention. Are you stuck because you're stuck because of the way your mind is paying attention, judging, or the evaluation or the expectation that you have placed on your own life? And of course, also I'd say midweek, if an opportunity comes up to go have a day off or do something fun or just relax or read a good book or something like that, grab it, because definitely you may not realise it, but you're probably completely overworked at the moment. Okay, end of the week, the Star card is coming in. Now, the Star card is indicating you have had a hard time. And I think a lot of people have. It's been a very strange year. But this Star card's saying that, those difficult times are coming to an end. Again here, you might notice she's got one foot in the pond and one foot on land. So it's about this balance again. This card is talking about, it's around, she represents sort of your common sense, your practical side in balance with your intuition and your inner self. So the resources around you at the moment is wanting you to really find that sense of balance in your life. Balance is really important. And with that will come a new sense of hope and renewal. If you are healing, feeling rejuvenated, sort of that finding new energy to move forward. whatever's been holding you back, if you're needing a little extra money, it's around you for the taking. If you are in a balanced state, and if you are ready to move forward, listening to what your heart has to say, and if you have engaged in balance in your life. With the Star card, you have a new sense of sort of your self-esteem feels better. You feel great. That there's opportunities around you, that you'll get the messages will come to you of ways to overcome any challenges, or you might have a new vision. Pay attention to your dreams, a new vision or a new focus on what is your next chapter in your life, or sort of where is it that you really need to go or want to go in your heart of heart type thing. So listen to that voice within, because the answer is going to be very strongly held there. So I hope you find that useful. Thank you so much for coming to my channel. If you haven't, please subscribe, like it, share my videos, please do. If you'd like a private reading or to catch up with me, please find me at my website at www.kirawoods.com. You can also find me on Facebook at Kira Woods Tarot, Twitter, So anyway, it feels good for you to make contact. I love to hear from you. I appreciate it very much, and I hope you found this reading of usefulness. I look forward to catching up with you next week, which will be the 3rd week in July. Have all the best. Have a great day. Cheers. Bye.